Should we all sit down? And I want to welcome everybody to the graduation of the Washington University School of Medicine class of 2019. Yeah. We are very, very excited to have your family and friends and all the guests with us today for this really exciting event. And I want to start by introducing our speaker, our guest speaker for today, Dr. Mona Hanna-Attisha, who was selected by the class of 2019 to make our keynote address. Dr. Hanna-Attisha is founder and director of the Michigan State University and Hurley Children's Hospital Pediatric Public Health Initiative, an innovative and model public health program in Flint, Michigan. A pediatrician, scientist, and activist, Mona has testified twice before the United States Congress, been awarded the Freedom of Expression Courage Award by PEN America, and named one of Time Magazine's 100 most influential people in the world for her role in uncovering the Flint water crisis and leading recovery efforts. She has appeared on CNN, MSNBC, BBC, and countless other media outlets, championing the cause of children in Flint and beyond. She is founding director of the Flint Child Health and Development Fund. Dr. Hanna-Attisha received her bachelor's and master's of public health degrees from University of Michigan and her medical degree from Michigan State University College of Human Medicine. She completed her residency at Children's Hospital of Michigan in Detroit, where she was chief resident. She is currently associate professor of pediatrics and human development at Michigan State University and Children's Hospital of Michigan, director of a unique Pediatric Public Health Fellowship, and the C.S. Mott Endowed Professor of Public Health at Michigan State. She has been recognized in so many ways, but I noted from her CV, Greater Flint African American Sports Hall of Fame inductee, MIT Media Lab Inaugural Disobedience Award, and the Most Powerful Moms of 2017 by Working Moms magazine. Her new best-selling book, What the Eyes Don't See, a story of crisis, resistance, and hope in an American city, is riveting, beautifully rendered account of a shameful disaster that became a tale of activism and hope, the story of a city on the ropes that came together to fight for justice, self-determination, and the right to build a better world for their and all of our children. It really is an honor for me to introduce Mona to speak to us today.
Wow, congratulations. It is absolutely awesome to be here with all of you. Congratulations, family and friends and faculty. And thank you for letting me share this amazing, amazing opportunity and occasion with all of you. I think I'm also supposed to say like hashtag WashU19, right? Or hashtag WashMed, hashtag you are all awesome. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So graduates, you, all of you, are the next to depart from this center of knowledge and enter today's world of medicine. We have been waiting for you. We need all of you. The next part of your life will be like no other. Residency for most of you, long hours, more knowledge than you thought your brain could hold, physical, mental, and sometimes emotional exhaustion, growth in your competence and your confidence that will transform you from a trainee to an independent practitioner. But right now, today, you're like in this eye of a hurricane, and you've come through the storm and you've weathered some rough spots, and you know there is a whirlwind of wonderful change coming, but not quite yet. Today, you can take a breath and enjoy a feeling of incredible, incredible accomplishment. You have endured all the labs, the endless nights, the exams, step 1, step 2, the match, all of it. You have absolutely endured. But to paraphrase William Faulkner, it is not enough to endure. We must prevail. And to prevail, you need to think about what kind of doctor you're going to be. And I don't mean like what kind of specialty or where you're going to practice. I mean, how are you going to serve as a doctor, as a leader in your community? When you graduate in a matter of minutes and you get that long white coat and you get the MD after your name, what are you going to do with that? Will it just be a job? Clock in, clock out, shift work, pay the bills? Or will you wake up every day not just to go to work, not just to practice medicine, but to be part of something bigger? And I am here today to challenge all of you to be part of something bigger. I know the kind of doctor that I strive to be, and I know the kind of doctors that we need. Doctors who never quit and never waver. Doctors who do the hard things because we care. The unpopular things because we care. The quixotic things because we care. Because we care not just about our patients, but we care about what is right. And I am standing here in front of you, and I am so relieved when I see all of your faces. Because we need you in the dark places and in the quiet places. We need you where no one is listening and where others refuse to see. Being a doctor means being a protector of health. Sometimes that means holding the hand of a person who feels like their whole life is slipping away. And then sometimes that means being on guard for a city that is being poisoned. You have chosen to put yourselves on the front lines of some of the most important battlegrounds today. Whether you know it or not, by taking up the profession of medicine and health, you have put yourselves on overwatch. You are now the sentinels, the guardians, the avengers. Okay, maybe not the avengers, but almost as awesome. Your responsibility is as crucial and as enormous. It is far-reaching, and it is as close to home as you can possibly get. This is the life that you have chosen. This is the life that we have all chosen. I chose to be a pediatrician. Where's all my pediatrician peeps? Give me some noise. Yay, another thought here too. Woohoo! You guys can change later if you want to go into pediatrics. I recommend. It's all good. Almost all of my patient work as a pediatrician was one-on-one. Small hands in mine, little ears in front of me, tiny noses to poke into. But sometimes the work that you choose has other plans for you. And my life took a turn that I wasn't expecting. Instead of one-on-one, I found myself one on thousands and facing the dire needs of so many. But what I learned in medical school and what I learned from all those hands and noses and fingers made me able to take on something bigger. But it all started with a choice. What will you choose? What kind of doctor will you be? My story, the Flint, Michigan story, is about the unthinkable tragedy of people and their children poisoned by the most basic thing, by our water. It is a story of what happens when the people charged with keeping us safe and healthy care more about money and power than they do about us or our children. It was preventable, but no one stopped it. It was avoidable, but it happened. It was all around me, and the signs were all around me, and I could not and did not see it until I studied it, until I knew it. Making others see it was a whole other thing. I ran up against people and entire systems built not to see. even when they did know. It was a blindness, an indifference, a will with water meters and test tubes, making sure that our air and our water was safe. And I was wrong. I was so wrong. I learned something else too. I learned that I was also responsible for my patients and their health. Me, Dr. Mona, taking care of little sick kids, directing a residency program, mom, wife, taking my kids to Girl Scouts and soccer practice. It was me. No one else was coming. And no matter how hard and how scary it seemed, I couldn't close my eyes. My role quickly morphed from clinician educator to detective scientist to patient advocate. And it was dramatic, kind of fast-paced, heart-pounding, around-the-clock work fueled by coffee, curiosity, and compassion and commitment for our children that allowed us to conduct the research that proved that our children, our patients, were in harm's way. And I want to pause and reiterate how backwards this all was. My research never should have been necessary. Of course, our crisis in Flint never should have started, but it should have stopped when that first mom held a jug of brown water. It never should have gotten to the point where the blood of our children were being used as detectors of environmental contamination. And even as I offered the scientific proof, the science, the facts, the data, the research, I was met with denials and attacks. And I was scared. I doubted myself. I had a knot in my stomach that wouldn't go away. I had just gotten a Fitbit, so I knew my heart rate, it was like close to 200. I began to diagnose myself with all kinds of different pathologies and didn't go to the doctor, obviously. And for a quick minute, I regretted using my voice. And I thought to myself, maybe I should have minded my own business, closed my eyes, stayed doing my job as a busy pediatrician. But that thought was quickly replaced with the realization that this had nothing to do with me and everything to do with my patients. Patients that I have literally taken an oath to protect. You'll soon take that oath. And it was also a recognition that every number in my research was not just a number. It was a child. It was about Tyler, who sprained his ankle, and Sasha, who always asks to use my stethoscope to listen to her heart, and Jalen, who had pink eye, and Jasmine, who had her 4-year checkup, wanted to be 5 years old when she grew up. All the Flint kids I knew and saw, all the kids I'd ever known and seen were jumping out of my spreadsheets, pushing me forward, lifting me up, giving me the courage to speak up against a system that wanted me to stay quiet. And it took a while, but finally, our persistence, our teamwork, and our science helped expose this man-made crisis. And within weeks, we were back on treated water, and since then, we have been building and sharing our model public health recovery. And as much as my story is a story of a crime committed with absolute indifference against some of the most vulnerable people in our country, it is also a story of resistance and hope. It is a story of medicine walking outside of the comfort zone of our hospitals, our clinics, our classrooms, our labs, and into the community, working hand in hand to challenge the status quo. And it is a testament to the idea that individuals working together from many different walks of life, many different disciplines, can absolutely make a difference. But my story is really about all of us, and it's about all of you. And once again, it's about what kind of doctor you choose to be. It's about how each of us has the power to open our eyes and open each other's eyes. Doctors are all blessed with a gift, each and every single one of you. A gift that is fleeting, and you must pay attention to it in the moment because it is only given once. Fresh eyes, fresh eyes. You only get to see it for the first time once. Don't miss it. Don't waste it. In those first moments, you will see and notice things that will vanish the more times you see it. The shocking turns into the usual, and the magical withers into the mundane, the known, the accepted. Like the first time you saw a baby born, and I heard we have an 11-day-old baby right here. Congratulations to the new baby. Hi, baby. Okay. But that's magic. That's magical. Or the first time a child comes to the ED coding from a gunshot injury. Or the first time you add measles to your differential for a kid with a fever and a rash. Or the first time a diabetic presents with DKA because they couldn't afford their insulin anymore. Or the first time you cradle an opioid-addicted baby to sleep. But in those first clean, clear moments, you get to see things through only your eyes and filter them through the layers of your perception and your training before anyone else tries to tell you what you're seeing, before the unthinkable has not only become the thinkable, but the expected. It's become the norm. As you spend the upcoming years on the front lines of medicine and health, do not forget to feel, and do not forget to every day ground yourself. Always remember, our science, our medicine, our work is about people. It's all about people. And it's about all people. The medical school you are graduating from is one of the best in the country. You know that. You are among the elite. This gives you the opportunity to use your privilege in service to others. Use what you've learned, what you know, and what you've seen. Use the technology and the tools of medicine and health to make lives better for people. You are hurtling toward your future at what can feel like light speed. Don't go so fast that you miss all the chances that will appear before you to make lives better. Those chances will absolutely come to you, I promise. But if you are not paying attention with your fresh eyes, you can miss them. Focus on the people in front of you, but don't forget to take a step back and look at the wider view, the bigger picture. One person with measles is bad. Hundreds with measles is a public health epidemic. One child with lead in their blood is terrible. Thousands is a preventable tragedy. One child shot in what should be the placental safety of their schools is sad. But when thousands are shot and die, it's a national medical emergency. Remember, you must take a moment. You have to be able to light up the darkness of tunnel vision to truly see. Your clarity of vision shows the world as it should be, not the imperfect place that it is. And instead of turning this innocence into nonchalance, you must turn it into awareness. There's a poem that I give my pediatric residents that sums this up. It's called A Worker's Speech to a Doctor. It was written actually in 1938. It says, "When we're sick, we hear, you are the one who will heal us. When we come to you, our rags are torn off and you tap around our naked bodies. As to the cause of our sickness, a glance at our rags would tell you more. It is the same cause that wears out our bodies and our clothes." The role of our environment, our situations, and our health is not new. In medicine, we often call this the social determinants of health. It's one of the reasons I went into medicine, to not only treat infections, but also to treat the upstream inequalities and injustices, to treat what is in front of me, but also what our trained clinician eyes often don't see or don't want to see. The world needs you to see beyond the obvious, because it is these often underlying and invisible ailments that fill our hospital beds and deteriorate our nation's health. And I challenge you to hold on to those fresh eyes, and then don't keep it to yourself. I urge you to be the dissenting voice when something has to be done. I urge you to raise your hands when everyone else is sitting on theirs. I urge you because I believe in you. I believe in each of you. And one lesson that you must take from my story is that your medical degree grants you stature in your community. It gives you gravitas. It makes you a respected expert in an era where many professions are not held in high regard. My MD was a megaphone for the kids in Flint, and I used it, and I was loud, and I was stubborn, and I was persistent, and it was finally the voice of medicine that ultimately changed the trajectory of an entire city. From this day on, you are all entrusted to be the voice of health. We are all depending on all of you. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Of all the forms of inequality, injustice in health is the most shocking and the most inhumane." Our patients cannot afford to have the guardians of their health shut their eyes, look away, and stay silent to injustices that threaten their health. And the time can't be more important than today, because you just have to pick your injustice. It's not hard to find. Turn on the news. The credibility of science is under attack, from vaccines to climate change. Safeguards for our most vulnerable are threatened. Regulations and public health agencies like the EPA are being dismantled. Healthcare access for millions are out of reach and may disappear. Rising drug prices, an assault today on women's health and reproductive health. Gun violence is epidemic. Slavery has morphed into mass incarceration. Children in cages and separated from their parents at the border. And like a malignancy, hate and racism and nationalism are spreading all over the world, especially against our most vulnerable patients. And why am I talking about all these things? Because this impacts the health of your patients, of your communities. Remember, this is your lane. This is what it's all about. This is why we wake up in the morning. This is why we went to school forever. It's our patients that we are privileged to serve. And this is the kind of doctor that we choose to be. I want to end by giving you one last assignment. Dean Perlmutter, is okay if I give them, faculty okay if I give them one last assignment? Okay, they seem okay with that. All right, guys, close your eyes. I want you to imagine that it's decades from now, and you're getting a Lifetime Achievement Award. They go through your body of work and highlight the things you did that earned you this prestigious award. How did you write that story? What did you accomplish? Your body of work will be made of the human quilt of the people you cared for, who you advocated for. Blood and bone will become the living resume of the life you will lead. Our work is in the ears and nose and throats and tummies of our patients. Our work is in helping the young grow strong and helping the old stay strong. How will you build a legacy worth celebrating? You, each of you, have chosen medicine as your path, as your life's work. But now you must make another choice. You must decide, what kind of doctor am I going to be? Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you for those beautiful words and for what you have done in our country. It's now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Lily Chen as the graduate who will introduce the Preclinical Teacher of the Year Award. Lily?
Thank you, Dean Perlmutter. In 1966, the graduating seniors inaugurated a Teacher of the Year Award to be presented to the member of the full-time faculty who, in the graduates' opinion, was the outstanding teacher whom they had encountered during their medical school years. Since 1970, each graduating class has selected 2 individuals, one from the preclinical faculty and another from the full-time clinical faculty, to receive a Teacher of the Year Award. This preclinical faculty member has taught and directed numerous courses in biochemistry and cell biology since 1985. Her passion for biochemistry is infectious and inspiring. She is dedicated and enthusiastic, and through her tireless efforts and meticulously organized lectures, she has built the very foundation for our medical school education. It is my honor to introduce Dr. Linda Pike as the 2019 Preclinical Teacher of the Year.
Thank you for those kind words. Let me start by congratulating all of you on your accomplishments that we're here celebrating today. You worked really hard to get to this point, and we're all proud of you. I know that includes your parents, your families, your friends, but it also includes your professors. And we were the ones that actually made you work so hard to get here. So good job. I also want to thank you for this award. Teaching you was both a privilege and a pleasure for me. And so it's really nice to receive an award for something that you enjoy doing. I hope that in some small way I have contributed to the foundation upon which your medical education has been built, and that I have given you the ability to undertake the process of lifelong learning, which is so important for being a good physician. I wish you all the best as you stride forward into your career as physicians. And I hope that you'll always remember that a Snickers bar is healthier than a Milky Way.
In 1979, Dr. Sidney S. Pearl, an alumnus of the class of 1932, established an award for inspirational teaching. Dr. Pearl stipulated the awardee was to be chosen by the graduating class from among the clinical faculty. The awardee receives a plaque, and the awardee's departmental affiliation receives a monetary gift. This clinical faculty member has truly been with our class every step of the way. Even before our clinical years began, she reached out to all of us, emailing us to invite us to shadow her while she was on service. In that email, she put the phrase, "on service" in quotation marks, followed by the definition in layman's terms, "on hospital duty," knowing that this group, cozy and comfortable in Connor Auditorium on the other side of Euclid Avenue, had no idea what it meant to be on service. And now 2 years later, and 2 years wiser, we not only know what it means to be on service, but also to be of service. For example, she has taught us to be kind, compassionate, and empathetic physicians to our future patients. The 2019 recipient of the Sidney S. Pearl Clinical Teacher of the Year is Dr. Megan Wren.
Thank you, Dr. Chen. So exciting to say that for the first time. And thank you, doctors. Get used to it. It has been wonderful working with you over the past 4 or more years on your road to this day. I'm thrilled that so many of you are staying here with us at Washington University. On the brink of residency, you may be a little nervous, but you're ready. You have the skills you need to succeed. You know what to do. Just remember, be kind to your patients, be kind to each other, be kind to yourselves. Thank you.
Class of 2019, very special class. I want to take you back to January 29, 2016. You were just finishing your 6th month of your first year here. And some of you went to a town hall with the new dean. Do you remember that day? I was just getting started and meeting lots of people. And I thought I would introduce myself to you and try to begin to get to know you. Apparently for you, this event represented an opportunity to bring to my attention the issue of grading and how you were pushing for the pass-fail system to be installed in the 2nd year. Does this sound like something that happened? This was not just any opportunity. It was a very public opportunity to see where I stood. There are a lot of words or phrases I could use to describe how I felt on the stage of Moore Auditorium that day. Some of them have 4 letters. But let's just say I was surprised. Eventually it happened, and you were the first class to have both pass-fail for both the 1st and 2nd year. And looking back now, it was a turning point for our education program. It really challenged me and our leadership in the most positive way to think about your experience as our students, and many of the things that we have done since have been inspired by that experience. And now I get to challenge you in the same way as you leave us. And please notice that I am challenging you publicly. Here it is. Promise me, promise all of us on this stage and your families who are here that you will never be satisfied with a pass in your practice of medicine, that you will constantly strive for excellence for each of your patients, that you will dedicate yourself to the professional philosophy of continuous improvement. This is deeply important to me and all of us, all of your faculty. And it is what we believe is the most important legacy of your education at Washington University. What do I mean by professional philosophy of continuous improvement? First, you will practice with rigor, always checking the evidence. And remember, the evidence builds over time, or it does not. And so you have to keep abreast of it. By the way, this is why we do research and believe deeply in the value of research. Second, you will open yourself to your own criticism. And how will you do that? You will continuously monitor your outcomes and compare them to your peers. And if necessary, find out what your peers are doing better. And never be satisfied with how well you are doing. This is what all of the faculty behind me do every day. What am I going to do today to bring more value to my job, to my patients, to my world? Yesterday is over and forgotten. Today I must do better. Today I must do more. Here I want to tell a story. I believe most of you know the story, but I'm going to tell it again because it is so meaningful for our profession. It is a story told by Atul Gawande in one of his first essays in the New Yorker, published in 2004. The title is The Bell Curve. The subtitle reads, What happens when patients find out how good their doctors really are? And another subtitle says, doctors like to think that they're doing their job as well as it can be done, but when you measure their results, the spread is wide. It describes a child with cystic fibrosis who lives in Ohio and is taken to specialists at Cincinnati Children's Hospital. Cincinnati has one of the finest and most successful children's hospitals in the world, and yet at the time of the story, its cystic fibrosis program had come to recognize that its outcomes were not good, and leadership there had decided that it must begin an entirely new process to improve. How did they know about their outcomes? It turns out that the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, the CF Foundation, continuously collects and curates outcome data from all of the children's hospitals and had been doing it since 1964. At this point in the story, Gawande points out that the data from the CF Foundation always conforms to the bell curve. This is a really profound observation and a hard one for us to hear, both as doctors and as patients. Most of the programs are average. A few are performing much better, and a few are performing worse. And the differences are not trivial. At the top centers, children with CF at that time were living to age 46 compared to age 30 at the average ranking center. As the story is told, the CF doctors at Cincinnati Children's have decided they're going to follow the advice of Don Berwick. Berwick started the Institute for Healthcare Improvement in Boston and is one of the fathers of what we now call the patient safety movement. He played a key role in the two monumental reports from the Institute of Medicine of the National Academy of Sciences to Errors Human in 1996 and Crossing the Quality Chasm in 2001. Berwick's seminal message was that the medical profession needed to do two things: measure itself and be open about the metrics internally and externally. To Berwick, the ideal world has doctors and hospitals routinely comparing their performance to their peers and sharing the data with the public, everything from complication rates to how often a drug is ordered for a patient is delivered correctly and on time. He argues that openness drives improvement. And so at Cincinnati Children's, the CF program, doctors, nurses, social workers, together with hospital leaders, stood in front of the families of these children and told them that their results were in the bottom ranking nationally, and then presented their plans to improve. Amazingly, not a single family left them. Gawande then describes what he saw at the top performing CF center, which was at University of Minnesota, and how it was different from what he saw in Cincinnati. To sum it up, he sees a very experienced physician leading the center, relentless dedication to outcome data, relentless efforts to improve, and open sharing of the data with the patients and the families. Yes, the families see all of the data and participate in the plans to improve. This physician has developed a new type of stethoscope to better and more accurately assess the lungs and a new device for chest therapy at home. And he is incredibly inventive in how he finds out what is actually going on with each of his patients. For instance, he describes in a routine visit for a 17-year-old girl, he spends the entire time probing her to find out why her lung function had dropped several points to 90% of predicted since her last visit 3 months before. Pushing and probing this teenager, as hard as that is. He eventually finds out that she had a new boyfriend and is working at night, and both of these were preventing her from chest therapy and taking her meds. And then he works with her on a plan to help her manage these new challenges. For me, I tear up when I read this even now because I know how much this persistence and this effort means to the family and what this young lady will eventually feel about how he gave her extra years of life. At the end of the essay, Gawande asked the mother from Ohio what she would do if, despite enormous efforts, the CF program at Cincinnati remained average. Would she take her daughter to the best center in Minnesota for care? It was quite revealing and poignant that the mother struggled to answer this question. She asked they would probably move to Minnesota, but she emphasized how hard the Cincinnati staff was working and how much that effort meant to her and the family. Gawande, who is a surgeon, writes, I quote, "I do not have to consider these matters for very long before I start thinking about where I would stand on a bell curve for the operations I do. The hardest question for anyone who takes responsibility for what he or she does, what if I turn out to be average? If we took all the surgeons at my level of experience," this is Gawande speaking, "compared our results and found that I was one of the worst, the answer would be easy. I'd have to hang up my scalpel. But what if I were a C? How could I justify putting patients under the knife? I could tell myself, someone's got to be average. If the bell curve is a fact, then so is the reality that most doctors are going to be average. There is no shame in being one of them, right? Except, of course, there is. Somehow what troubles people isn't so much being average as settling for it. Everyone knows that averageness is, for the most of us, our fate. And in certain matters, looks, money, tennis, we would do well to accept that. But in your surgeon, your child's pediatrician, when the stakes are our lives and the lives of our children, we expect averageness to be resisted. And so I push myself to be the best. If not the best already, I believe wholeheartedly that I will be. And you expect that of me too." End quote. So this is what I'm asking from you, our graduates, today. Rather, what I am demanding from you today. Practice medicine with rigor. Stay true to the evidence. Be skeptical of your own paradigm. My wife, Dr. Barbara Olin, who's behind us here, has a favorite thing she says to me almost every chance she gets. And she is always very delicate and diplomatic with me. She says, "David, don't drink too much of your own Kool-Aid." And by this she means it's a trap to think that you always have the answers and the right way to do things. Yes, that's why each of you has a packet of Kool-Aid at your seat to remember this day. And now I want you all to find that packet and raise it up and repeat after me. I will be relentless. I will never settle for average. I will never drink too much of my own Kool-Aid. That's it for me. As you walk across the stage today, you will become alumni of Washington University School of Medicine. We are so proud of you and looking forward to hearing about your journey, your successes, and your destiny. Please accept my heartfelt congratulations to all. At this time, I have the pleasure of introducing Chancellor Mark Ryden. For 24 years, Mark has represented the very best of Washington University and has given the university community so many reasons to be proud. His term as Chancellor will conclude on May 31st, and so we are most fortunate to have him here with us today. Under his leadership, Washington University has experienced tremendous growth in its reputation, resources, academic offerings, and the quality and diversity of its student body has grown. And since Mark became Chancellor, total enrollment has increased 33%, and the number of faculty members grown 48%, with the addition of more than 1,000 scholars, researchers, and clinicians. Newly created programs have expanded the scope of the university. And let's not forget about the wonderful campus improvements. As part of this university, we are truly grateful for Mark and his steadfast leadership over the years, and personally, I want to also express my thanks for the deep, impactful opportunity to work with him here over the last several years. Please join me in welcoming Chancellor Mark Ryden.
I think I should take a pack of Kool-Aid as well, especially after hearing great remarks like that about myself. Much confidence and trust is going to be placed in you. I think that confidence and trust is well placed. This is one of the finest academic medical centers in the world. I've traveled extensively. I've interacted extensively with other academic centers, also with great medical schools. But I find this program to be truly outstanding. And we're very fortunate that you selected Washington University School of Medicine to pursue your medical doctorate. I know some among you are also earning a PhD. And speaking of PhDs, and the research associated with that endeavor, I am just stunned by what has taken place in my lifetime in terms of the opportunity to advance human health through research. Washington University is a research-intensive institution, and its School of Medicine is one of the finest and highest in impact of any. At the commencement this morning on the Danforth campus, we celebrated the class of 1969, a class that graduated 50 years ago. I didn't tell the group at that time that I also graduated in 1969. So I've seen much of what others have seen, and I've been privileged to see it up close because I have been at this research-intensive institution for 24 years. The School of Medicine has a great tradition of bringing back its graduates for reunions. And the tradition is always to hear from a member of the class that graduated 50 years earlier, and current medical students who are graduating attend. Perhaps some of you attended the reunion this year. A few years back, one of our graduates, very distinguished, Dr. Floyd Bloom, was the 50-year reunion speaker. And he gave a very interesting address. He talked about the address that was given when he was a newly minted MD, when the 50-year reunion speaker gave his talk. So in his presentation, he was able to span a full century of advances in medicine. I very much hope that you will return on your 50th reunion, and I hope that you are able to participate for many years beyond that. Advances in human health stemming from research like that being done here is going to contribute significantly to not only lengthening life, but enhancing the quality of life for as long as possible. And each of you has the responsibility to participate in continuing to learn and to apply the new knowledge that is emerging about how to best help your patients. You've heard from Dr. Mona Hanna-Attisha and from Dean David Perlmutter of not accepting the average, and I commend that challenge to you as well. I very much hope that I will be able to participate in your 50-year reunion. Probably not. But we, in fact, are doing collaborative research with Keio University in Japan. Keio University is studying the lives of supercentenarians. Supercentenarians are individuals who've lived at least 110 years. So there is a possibility. I hope that you are able to advance human health and to take advantage of the tremendous research that's being done today, and I'm sure for many years to come. It was in the summer of 2015 that you matriculated here at Washington University. I expect that the MD PhDs came a few years earlier. But at that time, I already knew that I would be wrapping up as Chancellor at this time. That was my game plan. And I shared with the chairman of the board that I would be planning to conclude my chancellorship in his 5th year, and that is this year. And of course, my successor is already on station, doing well and advancing the university. This is Dr. Andrew Martin. So as I conclude, I want to extend my congratulations and share with you that on 2 counts, I've saved the very best for last. You started in 2015 and graduate in 2019 with me, and the School of Medicine is the very best, the highest impact, and I'm confident that you will contribute in ways that reflect well on this institution. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mark. And now I introduce Dr. Nurbay Jain, President of the Class of 2019, to come to the podium and address his colleagues. Nurbay.
Thank you, Dean Perlmutter. Good afternoon, doctors. Congratulations on finally getting through the past 20-plus years of school and becoming a physician. So when I first sat down to write the speech, I was stuck for a while. After all, there are no Anki decks for graduation. Eventually, I figured out my problem. How could I sum up everything that our class has done in just a few minutes? This class excels in so many ways, and not just academically. We've also made impressions on each other that will last a lifetime. Look around you in the audience and think of all the times you spent with these people. These are the people who are beside you for a majority of your last 4 or more years. There's late-night Ted Drews and class-wide post-exam shell parties. There are games at Busch Stadium, nights at BPV, board games and movies that lasted till 3 a.m. And yes, plenty of time going to or watching class, seeing patients in the hospital, and studying. These are the people that you languished with in Becker, ate Addie's tie with during every lunch talk, and escaped 3rd year with just that little bit. And I think that's what I'll miss the most about med school. Sure, the big events like med ball were fantastic, but it's the daily rhythm that'll stick with me the longest. The simple things, like weekly Taco Bell runs, or bar trivia, or even yelling at each other in the carols about how ridiculous an NBME or U-World question was. These little experiences have been the best part of my time at WSM. Of course, every journey has an end. Our paths may be diverging, with us each entering a new life, but we will always have St. Louis. Nothing will ever change what you have meant to me and what you have meant to each other. So the next phase is calling, and I'll leave you all with this. I cannot imagine a finer group of physicians to send off into the world today nor can I think of a finer collection of people to have represented for the past few years. I'm deeply privileged and humbled to be making my first address as Dr. Jane to people that I can call colleagues, classmates, and friends. So be brave, be strong, be curious, be diligent, and most importantly, be kind. We may meet in the future at conferences, weddings, and reunions, or this may be the last time we ever see each other, but we will always have the times we spent here together. Thank you.
Years ago, the class of 1984 decided to take a professional oath and chose a modified version of the 1984 Declaration of Geneva. This year, we've asked Dr. Eva Agard, Senior Associate Dean for Education, Carol and Jerome Loeb, Professor of Medicine, to lead the class in this oath. Eva, will you please come to the podium?
I have the best job. Okay, I just want to say two things. One, please say thank you to your family, your friends, for this wonderful accomplishment that they've helped you achieve. Please give them a round of applause. I am so very proud of you, and I am thankful that you have allowed me to participate in your education these last 2 years since I came as your Senior Associate Dean. Now please rise and recite with me the Geneva Oath, which can be found at the back of your program. Everybody ready? Okay. At the time of being admitted as a member of the medical profession, I solemnly pledge myself to consecrate my life to the service of humanity. I will give to my teachers the respect and gratitude which is their due. I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity. The health of my patient will be my first consideration. I will respect the secrets which are confided in me. I will maintain by them all means in my power the honor and the noble traditions of the medical profession. I will not permit consideration of religion, nationality, race, party politics, or social standing to intervene between my duty and my patient. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life, even under threat. I will not use my medical knowledge contrary to the laws of humanity. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. Thank you.
And now I would like to invite Dr. Lisa Moscoso, Associate Dean for Student Affairs. Lisa, will you please come forward to address the class of 2019 and to award the diplomas?
Thank you, Dean Perlmutter. And on behalf of the Office of Student Affairs, congratulations to the class of 2019. So today, when you receive your diplomas, I am going to announce your full names. As I pronounced those names this week in preparation for today, something about that task brought me back to a time when I visited some of the tallest trees on Earth in an old-growth redwood forest. Some of those trees were 800 years old and as tall as football fields. So I'm told, and what I learned is that when one of the ancestral trees falls, it supports and nourishes new growth around where they fell and decayed. And so you'll see these circles and families of trees, of coastal redwoods towering over a fallen ancestor. And in this circle, the root system is reinforced and strengthened by intertwining with other roots, creating a strong network of support. And it occurs to me when it comes to achievement, none of us stands alone. We all benefit from the work of our ancestors and depend upon an intertwining supportive root system of one another that allows you to stand tall. A few years before that, I was hiking in rainforest with my husband in South America. And there we did beauty checks. And I'll never forget what our native guide said as we were walking through this gorge. There was a huge, very loud waterfall that fell into this pool of water, and there was a canopy of the rainforest on top of us, and just all this power and beauty was around us. And the guide took his fingers and held them to his lips and said, "Shh, the ancestors are here." And years later, in that redwood forest, among 800-year-old trees, I remembered what that native said, and I knew what I should do at that moment, because I got quiet, and I knew the ancestors were there. And so, looking at all of you out here, I have a similar feeling to what that native guide must have felt. It was that same sense that overtook me in that redwood forest, for right here and right now, this is a sacred place. The way that you have intertwined your root systems here has made it that way. And it occurs to me in this moment, your ancestors are here. Some seen with our eyes, some seen with our mind's eye, in our memories, and with our hearts. So now, in the presence of those whose root systems have intertwined with you, in the presence of your ancestors, it's my duty and my pleasure to proclaim the full names of our newest doctors. So, it is time. So will Dr. Perlmutter, Dean Perlmutter, Dr. Thomas Defer, our Associate Dean for Medical Student Education, and Dr. Michael Donlin, who is our Assistant Dean for Academic Affairs and Registrar, come forward. So the presentation of degrees will have this following format. Although a few graduates weren't able to come today, I'm going to announce every graduate. In addition, in your program, students, you may have already noticed there's a listing of awards and prizes recognizing your outstanding accomplishments. And so these awards and prizes will be in your diploma. So check and make sure you have the right diploma. Okay, so traditionally, the first Doctor of Medicine degree diploma to be awarded each year goes to the president of the graduating class. So will Dr. Nirbe Suman Jain please come forward and accept his diploma. Oh yes, and then the graduates will be greeted by Dr. Jain before they walk across the stage. So the first group of graduates, as you've heard, have completed 6 or 7 or 8 or more years of medical education and research and are receiving both a Doctor of Medicine degree and a Doctor of Philosophy degree. So the first row of graduates is coming forward. As I read your name, you'll cross the stage after you shake hands with Dr. Jain and then Dr. Perlmutter and Dr. Defer. So our first graduate is Dr. Marina Avedisian. Dr. Samantha Van Hove Bauer. Dr. Ravi Chacko could not be with us today. And Dr. Colby Chang could also not be with us today, but let's clap for them anyway. Dr. Estefania Fernandez. Dr. Whitney Rose Greither. Dr. Andrew Everett Oliver Hughes. Dr. Sunena Kandalwal. Dr. Andrew Wiggin Kraft. Dr. Lucy Xiaotian Li. Dr. Stephen Wheeler Linderman. Dr. Micah John Luderer. Dr. Anish Mitra. Dr. Swapnil Jagdishchandra Patel. Dr. Russell Edward Thompson could not be with us today. Dr. Mark Cannon Valentine. Dr. Shinyu Steve Wang also could not be with us today. And Dr. William Bo Zhang also, congratulations, could not be with us today. The next group of graduates has completed a full year of research training in addition to the medical program and is receiving both a Doctor of Medicine degree and a Master of Arts degree. Dr. Ian Michael Ferguson. Dr. Elaine Sirwa Otri. Dr. Rukayat Mayawat Daiwo. The next group of graduates has completed a full year of advanced study in addition to the medical program and is receiving both a Doctor of Medicine degree and a Master of Population Health Science degree. Dr. Kshitij Anil Desai could not be with us today. Dr. Anjali Anil Gupta. Dr. Seth Green Howdishell. Dr. Nicholas William Carlo could not be with us today. Dr. Jody Beth Lapidus. Dr. Deepak Lingam. Dr. Abby Rachel Rosenberg. Dr. Derek Thomas Schloman. Dr. Amar S. Shah. Dr. Robert Lucas Thomas III could not be with us today. Dr. Sarish Velagati. Dr. Cynthia Xingjia Wang. The next graduates have completed a full year of clinical research training in addition to the medical program and are receiving both a Doctor of Medicine degree and a Master of Public Health degree. Dr. Amy Chung-Hui Chu. Dr. Caroline Jane Broder Wentworth. The next group of graduates has completed a full year of clinical research training in addition to the medical program and is receiving both a Doctor of Medicine degree and a Master of Science in Clinical Investigation degree. Dr. Sampath Sindhar. Dr. Robert John Stevens. The following graduates are receiving a Doctor of Medicine degree and a Master of Business Administration degree. Dr. Rachel Lauren Goldberg. Dr. Kayvon Mohammed Javaharian. And the following graduates are receiving the Doctor of Medicine degree. Dr. Sahai Bakala Abeba. Dr. Gabriela Farakdot Abrishmanian Garcia. Abrishamian Garcia. I'll get that right. Dr. Christine Elise Averill. Dr. Tamara Cameo. Dr. Mary Christina Chavarria. Dr. Eileen Chen. Dr. Howard Chang Hao Chen. Dr. Lily Chen. Dr. Teresa Xiaotian Chen. Dr. Danielle Louise Crumble. Dr. Chuck Ho Jeffrey Choi. Dr. Reese Evan Clark could not be with us today. Dr. Kevin Michael Cohen. Are you coming? Okay, later. Okay. Dr. Victoria Huilin Tsui. Okay, we've got a crew here. We have Watson, and we have Eleanor, and we have Dr. Sarah, maybe, and we have Dr. Brian Michael Cusworth. Dr. Jonathan Forrest Dalton. Dr. Jyotirmoy Hussein Das. Dr. Juan Ramon Delis Gonzalez. Dr. Aristides George Diamant. Dr. David Patrick Eberts. And this is our youngest person to cross the stage. We have Miles Christopher Krevkur and Dr. Travis Stanley Krevkur. Oh, look. In cap and gown. What a memory. Dr. Anastasia Beirut Evanoff. Dr. William Harvey Everett. Dr. Anna Arnaud Fabian could not be with us today. Dr. Fayola Francesca Fears. Dr. Daniel David Friedman. Dr. Robert Joseph Gallo. Dr. Kevin Philip Garza. Dr. Alexander Ruben Goldberg. Dr. Elizabeth Ann Grasser. Dr. Natalie Elizabeth Griffin. Dr. Jacob William Grunendijk. Dr. Vivek Hitendra Hansalia. Dr. Stephen August Hahn could not be with us, and Dr. Christine Marie Horan also could not be with us today. Dr. Tina Sue. Dr. Sally Joe. Dr. Shane Daniel Johnson. Dr. William Robertson Johnston. Dr. Kai Eka Jones. Dr. Youssef Jamal Jordan. Dr. Lillian Kang could not be with us today. Our speaker from this morning, Dr. Alexandra Marie Keene. Dr. Erin Elizabeth Klein. Dr. Tracy I-Ching Kong. Dr. Ellen Lucy Larson. Dr. Ashling Sarah Leanne Last. Dr. Kevin Z. Lee. Dr. Yang Lee. Dr. Patricia Gina Liu. Dr. Toby Ryan Manders. Dr. Matthew S. Margolis could not be with us today. Dr. Michael Matheson. Dr. Weston McCarran. Dr. Andrea Boss McCullough. Dr. Paul Matthew McMurray. Dr. Michael Scott Miles. Dr. Mahadi Mokarala. Dr. Haley Ann Motowski. Dr. Farah Musharbash. Dr. Dean Thomas Odegaard. Dr. John Robert Peacock. Dr. Hong Swang Pham. Dr. Nicholas Alexander Pickersgill. Dr. Brian Joseph Robbie. Dr. Hari S. Raman. Dr. Kara Nicole Ramsey could not be with us today. Dr. Evelyn Rose Reed. Dr. Ryan Embry Reese. Dr. Mary Morgan Scott. Dr. Michael Jorge Centers Zapata. Dr. Maya Rotem Silver. Dr. Nicholas Charles Spies. Dr. Nitya Lakshmi Shrivalsan. Dr. Tanvi Subramanian. Dr. Damini Tandon. Dr. Sarah Collins Tepper. Dr. Jenny Rose Tobat. Dr. Christopher John Tricarico. Dr. Gayatri Devi Vadlamudi. Dr. Maeve Marie Welchie. Dr. Yu Ting Ye. Dr. Jason Yoon. Dr. Jacqueline Yangji Yu. Dr. Craig Michael Yugawa. Dr. Gazelle Miriam Zarafati. Dr. Kathy Zhang could not be with us today. And Dr. Caroline Zong. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2019, stand up. Look at your families. 2019 Commencement Recognition Ceremony for the Washington University School of Medicine. Following the recessional, you're cordially invited to a reception sponsored by your new organization, the School of Medicine's Alumni Association. Up in the atrium, so take the escalators up to the second floor. Faculty and our new doctors, please rise for the recessional. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming.